This is Q Ortiz, your local San Diego massage therapist, musician, and artist. And have some parrots flapping by. Alright, I titled this video Producer versus Consumer because it's been a continuous challenge and journey regarding removing distractions and just focus on creation. And I think with most creatives, this is the battle, so to speak, where you can constantly be distracted by whether it be videos or just different tasks that you do that have nothing to do with your main purpose in your creative process. So one thing I noticed was, and I speak on this a lot just because it's one of the things that I like to focus on, is just maintaining that focus and the idea about even like these videos, like this video. This could be a distraction for you, you know, from what you're set to do. And that's what I notice a lot with different videos. It might be content that is beneficial, and I don't discredit it. I don't make it to where I'm expressing to you or to myself, don't watch these videos, but just more so looking at where the videos point and then applying that or using that information in your life. Where I notice for me, I can just absorb all this YouTube stuff, all this different information, and a lot of the time it can hinder progress in other areas. So I have a stack of books that I recently purchased just over a little bit of time, and one of my goals is to go through all those books, you know, just touch in with each book, just get that information, sit with it, and yeah, just really just taking that information, that knowledge. And I notice a lot of the times if I resort to more like the videos, social media, it robs that time that can be put towards the actual source material, and not just a lot of the sort of regurgitation of some sorts, or opinions, like different other people's opinions rather, where they're touching in on the source material, they're mentioning the source material. So that's where I noticed in watching the videos, when they touch in on certain ideas and say they mention this book, then I can go, all right, let me read this book and sort of get the information that way, you know, form my own ideas and see my own impression from this. But that's not to say that consumption isn't necessary, because even the reading is a form of consuming. but it's a different form. I think this kind of stimulating video format, it has a certain point to where it can become destructive. So setting boundaries around it is beneficial to the focus. Because when I'm reading, I don't get sucked in how I would with a video. Videos are just so stimulating to the eyes, the brain, has you like staring at this screen unless you're, you know, sitting back doing something. And I've done that too, to where while I was, say, like sewing something or painting or creating, painting, sewing, making shirts, I would have different material on, having different videos or music. But even now, so for the past couple of days, I've been going through an elimination. And yeah, if you don't know what that is, check out The Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret and get that source material. Don't just listen to me. No, but the past couple of days, past few days, I've been going through an elimination and just doing different practices to where I'm not necessarily having the phone around. And I did a video before where I mentioned cutting the phone off. Just, it sets a hard boundary, because if you need to use it, then it's a harder process to go back into the phone. You need to cut the phone on, wait for it to cut on. It just sets that boundary. But for some people, that's unrealistic. As someone mentioned, they had children, so they need to have their phone on. And I noticed more so like the things that pull more aren't texting, it's not email, it can be the browser, excuse me, it can be the browser, but the main things are definitely the social media, because it's feeds, it's just constant. Where the browser, you can search for something, okay, got that answer, cool. And before, with the browser situation, I used to, or I played with the idea of not having internet in my house, where I had Wi-Fi, but I set that boundary for myself where I didn't use the internet. And I got this from The Minimalist, where I would just cut off my Wi-Fi in my room and I wouldn't use Wi-Fi. If I had questions, I would write them down in my book. And then when I wanted the answers, I would have to go outside. I would have to like physically step out of my house to use the internet, and then come back in and not have internet. So I did that for, what was it? Maybe three weeks to a month or something like that. Yeah, it was like three weeks to a month, not having the internet in my house, but only using it outside. I had to step outside of my house. So with that, that's where I'm speaking about these different levels of exploration and experimentation. But as far as like more of what sucks you in, or what I feel draws me in more, is the social media, the feeds, and then the YouTube is crazy. YouTube is crazy. It can be so distracting. And with these past few days of not really having the music on, even when I'm riding my bike, you know, to work, I stopped doing that. Even just now, I was working on a sewing project and didn't have the music on. Just I'm out here connecting with nature and just taking in those sounds. And I notice also that it helps with the production. It helps with that process, because if I was listening to music and then I wanted to record a video, it would cut the music off whenever I would go, especially if I'm playing it through the phone. So it would cut it off to go onto a video, and that messes up the vibe. So then I kind of is like, nah, I'm just chilling. You know, I get in that chill mode while I'm just creating. Then if I was watching a video, that also that's the same idea. It would stop the video for me to record anything I'm doing. That plus, say if I have my camera and I was listening to something, when I record, it would pick up whatever I'm listening to. So I am sort of forced to put music behind whatever I'm doing, or adjust it in that kind of way. I would need to mute the video. So that's where I started experimenting more with that idea, just not using the music like that, or using the videos like that, just for the time, like as I mentioned, where I'm wanting to focus more on that creation. Like even now, just putting this out, to where maybe I would consume more. I would just kind of take in more videos and information of various subjects. But in this moment, instead of just consuming, now I'm producing. So that's more what I'm touching it on. And if you find this helpful, if you feel like for you've been going through more of that sort of hindrance in your process, the hindrance in your creation, just your mark that you're creating, I hope this does find you, and you are able to apply it and go, yeah, okay, let me try not having the phone on, or not going to the YouTube, and just making sure that you set those boundaries for yourself, because you don't want to be lost in the realm of just not really doing anything, so to speak. And I know even when I say that, I can, like, how my brain, sorry if it paused, my battery's low, and I'm gonna go soon because I need to make a phone call after this. But how my brain works is I can see multiple angles. So yeah, there's that perspective of being productive, the perspective of just that output, and I'm hearing, okay, that's more capitalistic as far as how you live your life, what you do with your life, and then as far as doing nothing, just kind of connecting with source, and just basking in that, you know, not necessarily needing to do anything, but more allowing yourself to connect with that with that power and being moved. You know, I hope that makes sense to you. So that's where it's up to you. If you're a creative or just someone who wants to get into action and get into that focus, what are those ways for you to remove the distractions? What's distracting you? I know for sure I mentioned this phone, like the portal of the phone, just like where it can take you, because it's just this, it's a little three-dimensional device, but once you open it and you unlock it, it's just these portals of thought and then energy. And when you're consuming some of these programs, a lot of the time it's not really feeding you, you know. It's just, you're just like consuming, but there's no reciprocation. It's not like being outside, you know. Like you're breathing in and then breathing out, and it's just constantly breathing in that freshness. You're being replenished by being in that space. So that's more what I'm touching in on, just as far as removing the distractions, focusing on your creation, whatever you're wanting to create, and why. Because I think that's a big part of it. When I mentioned the different angles of how you can see what you want to do with your life, it's more so why. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you want to create? Is that inherent in you? Do you feel like you want to leave something behind? Or is it just simply for the nature of creating? Because creation is natural. Oh, man. Alright, well, I hope this finds you in a good place, and I hope it helps you out. Definitely just enjoying this time, and I hope you're enjoying your time as well. Alright, well, if you like this video, click like. If you want to drop a comment, drop one below, share your thoughts. And if you want to continue on this journey with me, click subscribe, and we can vibe. Peace out.